I was really nervous. There was no audition process or rehearsal or anything. It was just they flew me out, and my rehearsal and everything was sound check.
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin' Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
Hey, Nate, good to see you, man. How's things with you?
Hey, good. Hey, thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, awesome. You got a lot of things happening this year. Let's talk about Firehouse first. Of course, the new single "Mighty Fine Lady." So tell me about that.
Yeah, so that song came about. I hit up Bill Leverty one day. And I was like, "Hey, man, let's work on a song." And he has all these riffs that he's put down into his computer, and he sent me over a riff, and I came up with the first verse, and the song was written rather quickly. But we're really excited about the song. We're excited to play it live.
Yeah, when was this?
Ooh, this was earlier this year, a few months ago.
Okay, so it came. Yeah, so it came, like you said, it came quickly.
Yes. Yep.
Now, were you guys in the same room working together, or was this one of those things where you were somewhere and he was, and you guys are kind of, trading files?
Yeah, this was kind of over the phone, kind of. I'd send a voice memo, on the iPhone. I'd send him over kind of like the melody and everything, singing, and he would send a guitar track back through the phone, and just kind of over the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, you hop in his studio and whatnot. So this is obviously the first song you guys have written together.
Yep. Yep.
Have you been working on any other ones?
We would like to work on some more. I think we've got a couple more in the works, but kind of let this one ride out a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get into your past here real fast, because as I was telling you before we started, I don't really know a whole lot about the American Idol thing, but you were on there 2 years ago, correct?
Yep. Yep.
And I read that you got a golden buzzer, and I'm not really exactly sure what that means, but that's where like you just you kind of bypass all the things to get to wherever somebody else has to. I don't know, how does it work?
Yeah, so American Idol, they do the open kind of door auditions, where they have everybody line up. I was fortunate enough, I knew somebody, kind of like an AR, somebody in LA had set me up with this thing, and he's like, "Hey, we can get you kind of through the back door." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's great." And the next thing you know, I'm on a Zoom call, kind of doing the pre-auditions before we go on to, to kind of determine if they're going to put you on the show or not. So I had three songs. I think it was a Foreigner song, a Talkin song, and a Great White song, and they wanted the Lightning Strikes Again by Talkin because it's high energy. Um, but yeah, I passed that pre kind of audition phase, and I they flew me out to Nashville to record.
So are
Yeah.
you one of these guys, and I've talked about this before in my shows, are you one of these guys who was born in the wrong decade?
I'm so jealous of you guys. You guys had the greatest generation. I missed out. Yeah.
Yeah. I see guys of what are you, 25?
24.
24. I see guys like you with the denim jackets and all the bands. I'm like, yeah, I did that a million years ago.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So then you get slipped in through the back door, but I'm still a little bit. So who do you know, and how do you get in? What were you doing? Were you playing around in bands or just singing? It's just stuff on the internet. How'd you do this?
I was in a previous band. They're out of Leonard, Michigan. Wanted. Was fronting that band for a while. I had left that band to pursue the American Idol thing. Um, I was just doing covers and putting myself out there, and it just happened. It just some guy hit me up. He's like, "Hey, man, I really love what you're doing. Would you like to possibly be on American Idol?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Now
Yeah,
I forgot you're from here, right?
yeah. I grew up in Linden.
In Linden. Okay, man, you should have just come by the station. I totally forgot all about that. Yeah, that's wicked. So who gave you the golden buzzer?
Yeah, it was Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan.
Okay, but they all do it at the same time?
So it's the golden ticket.
Oh,
So
sorry, yeah.
they both vote, and oh, it's a yes for me, yes for me. They got a three outstanding judge, yeses, but um, that was nervous. I was so nervous during that. Oh my God. It was a good time though. Luke came up, Luke Bryan, and sang "Here I Go Again" with me. That was great. Tall guy.
Yeah, one of my friends in Nashville was his neighbor for the longest time until a few years ago. They're still good friends, I guess. But so you sing "Here I Go Again." Have you ever reached out to David Coverdale or anything to see what he thought about it?
No, no, he's on a whole nother level than me. But
Well,
um,
I know that, but the dude's on Twitter like 24/7.
yeah, I would hope he watched it, but it'd be nice to talk to him or meet him one day. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've met a lot of the 80s rock idols, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We were talking before you got on that you hung out and sang a lot with Jack Russell. When was the last time you saw him?
Um, April 5th, 2024. Yeah, the day CJ we lost CJ. That was the last time I saw him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I saw him, I think it was November of 2023, as I was telling you just before. And I don't know how many shows he played after that, but it wasn't many. But Jack was a good dude. So you do the American Idol thing. Obviously, you're a rocker and stuff. And then who notices you and how do you get hooked up with the Firehouse camp? Is that through Robbie Lochner from
Y-
band?
Yeah, sure is. Yeah, I was living in Nashville at the time and just kind of going through a kind of like a silent period of where I wasn't having any gigs or anything or going out with Jack. And Robbie had called me up one day. He's like, "Hey man, this is what's going on with CJ. He's going to be out for a little bit, undergoing some surgery." He's like, "Would you be interested in filling in for the time being?" And I said, "Yeah." So the next morning, Bill called me. He's like, "Hey, it's Bill from Firehouse," and explained to me what was going on. And he's like, "Would you like to fill in for a little bit?" And the only song I knew was "Love of a Lifetime," so I had to learn 14 songs in about a week and a half. Yeah, and that's I've
And
been filling in.
CJ's range is way up there.
Oh, it's unmatched. He's incredible.
Yeah, he was a good dude. I only had a chance to meet him a few times. I know Bill a little bit. Of course, I believe his wife is from here.
Yeah, Monroe.
So, and I've talked to Bill a bunch of times about that. But yeah, CJ was a good guy, and this is a couple years ago. So obviously, you're only 24 now. I mean, you're just a kid singing in this band that
Yeah,
was that was that had their heyday even before you were thought of.
yeah, that's true. Crazy. Pretty
So what
crazy.
was the first show like?
Um, I was really nervous. There was no audition process or rehearsal or anything. It was just they flew me out and my rehearsal and everything was sound check. So we had a long extended sound check and we did the show.
Wait a second, hold on. So Robbie contacts Bill. He
Yep.
contacts you. He sends you the song list, and then you did a show without doing a rehearsal.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So here's my question, because this is always fascinating me. So when you're on stage, obviously you have to command the stage because you are the lead singer. But then
Yeah.
again, you're playing for this band that you just kind of join. How do you kind of how do you balance that?
Um, your stage presence kind of grows over time. In the beginning, I didn't really. I'm still working on it. Because I'm so I would consider myself introverted. I don't really not really good at talking to people, but I think the more shows you do, the better. You kind of vibe with the crowd. You can be able to talk to them a little better. It just takes time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course not only vibe with the crowd, but vibe with the band as well. I'm sure there's visual cues and whatnot too, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so you have to learn those guys.
Yeah. I kind of got to bounce off of them and feed off of their energy, and it's a good.
Yeah. So do you, do you ask them about road stories from back in the day?
Always. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Pretty great stories.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, you're probably gonna, get a bunch of your own here coming up. But yeah, that was a different era for sure. Where did you get your musical influences from?
I grew up listening to, my parents were always, me and my sister, they would always have music playing in the house, and it would be, Journey, Boston, Styx, Foreigner, Ambrosia, all the kind of the 70s early rock stuff. And then in my teenage years, kind of branched out into the Motley Crue. I was huge into Metallica. Um, I was fascinated with them. Um, Kind of branched out from that, got back into Talkin. But there was always music around.
And so you'd say primarily you're an 80s rock guy.
I'd like to think so. Yeah, it's the greatest music ever. Yeah.
Those are still some of your favorite bands. I mean, you mentioned them, obviously. Those are still
Yep.
some of your favorites.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you've had a chance to go see and interact with some of these guys?
Um, yeah, I met Don in, I think it was Puerto Plata, or it might have been San Juan, Puerto Rico. This is before we went on to the 80s cruise.
Hmm.
Um, Met him. We were hanging out at the bar, and he comes over and talks to me for an hour and a half. Great guy. He's hilarious. But yeah, I met Don. I think I've ever met. I wish I would have met Brad Dell, incredible vocalist. Good Lord. But I met some pretty cool people. Yeah.
You went on the 80s rock cruise. Who else was on that cruise with you?
Uh, see, there was Faster Pussycat. There was Warrant, Christopher Cross, Sheila E., Tiffany, Men at Work. Kind of the more kind of pop, kind
Wow.
of
Yeah, that was an 80s cruise, wasn't it?
yeah, great. It's great.
The first time I ever met Don Dokken was 3 years after Monsters of Rock, and I was poor. And I just talked about this on the air the other day that I had to go pick him up at his hotel and bring him to the radio station for an interview. But my car was always broken, so I was using the station vehicle, which was a 1967 hearse. So I picked him up in a hearse,
That's
and he walked out of the hotel and he stopped and he said, "I thought I'd only be in one of these things once in my life."
oh shoot.
I've asked him about that in the past, and he doesn't remember it. But I got that story going for me.
That's great.
So, what do you got going on with the band this year?
Yeah, so we've got roughly right around 50 or so shows this year. Um, our next show coming up is next Friday in Pennsylvania at Timber Rock Amphitheater with Lita and Warren.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how many shows have you played with Firehouse?
Oh, let's see. I don't know the exact number, but I'll kind of rough estimate it. I'd say probably around 100 plus shows, a little over.
So it's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
Yeah. And obviously, you knew CJ, and from all the accounts I saw, CJ gave you complete blessings, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Me and him, we were constantly on the phone. He would always be really supportive and give me pointers, and you know, take your time on stage, because it's a lot of air, breath control. If you blow it all out, the first couple songs and you've lost your voice, you kind of got to pace yourself. And but he was a really great guy. Yeah,
Yeah. How exciting is it going to be? Well, have you played the new song live yet?
not yet.
That's coming up next Friday, probably, huh?
We've got a 45-minute set, so I don't think we'll be able to fit it in. The next show, um, in Wisconsin, or no, I'm sorry, it's either Minnesota or Wisconsin. We're going to do a headlining show, and we're going to throw it in for the first time. See how.
Okay. Yeah, that's great, man. So, what do your parents think about all this?
My mom is thrilled. It's a bummer. I lost my dad when I was 6, so I'm sure he's watching from above. But yeah, I'm sure they would be really happy, or he would be really happy. But my mom's happy.
Yeah, did she come out and see you play?
Yeah, yeah, she's been to a few shows. We had a show up at we were opening it for Winger at the Capitol Theater in Flint. That was cool. She came out to that one, and that was a blast.
Yeah, I saw Winger back in the day, and I took an ex-girlfriend of mine, and she didn't want to look at me for the rest of the day.
Oh, oh shoot.
You know how that goes. Back in the day, back 30 years ago, you know,
Yeah.
he was a stud. Have you had a chance to meet the guys from Metallica or see them live since?
Oh, the last show I saw was the Hardwired Tour 2019 at Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids. That was oh,
Yeah, so you haven't seen the latest one where they do the no repeat stuff.
no, no, not the 72 seasons. I wish I could um meet them. I'd like to meet James. He's man, that guitar tone is insane. But
Yeah, they say he's the best rhythm guitarist in metal and
yeah,
rock.
yep.
So I mean, you're obviously from a small town and stuff, and you're fresh out of school. I mean, for all practical purposes. How did getting on American Idol and being in now a touring rock band with the guys from Firehouse, how's that changed your life, especially coming from a small town?
Um, it has always been a dream of mine to pursue music. I had an option to either go up to be a lineman up in Alpena, Michigan, or take 2 years off from high school and and do TikTok and music. And I think I chose right. But the overall feeling of where I'm at now, um, I would say I feel pretty blessed. It's a really fortunate thing that it happened to me. And I'm really grateful. And I'm grateful for all the fans that continue to come out. Because without you guys, there's no music, there's no live music. But I'm really, really happy, and I'm around really great bunch of guys who are super down to earth, and it's the best thing in the world.
And you said you were down in Nashville. Where are you right now, by the way? You in Michigan?
I'm in Holly. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. You
Yeah.
should come to the station. What the heck, man? So, anyways, yeah. So you were in Nashville. Did you live down there, or were you just down there for a little while?
Yeah, I was living 18th Avenue. Yeah, right by Music Row.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
And so, were you playing gigs in the bars down there?
yeah, I would skip around the Kid Rock's place and just a bunch of kind of smaller gigs around town, but it's a hard town to break into because it's kind of you're divided up into country and pop and all the other styles of music. Rock is kind of hard down there.
Yeah, I've spent a few nights in the Cadillac Pussy Lounge.
Yeah.
But anyway, but when you get an American Idol, did the doors open up a little bit?
Yeah, some eyes were put on me. I think I think it helped boost um to where I would later be at. Um, I think it helped. Yeah.
I mean, it can't hurt when you're on national television like that.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good time. Met a lot of really cool friends, really talented people, and of course, meeting Katy Perry and Lionel Richie and Luke Bryan. That was really cool. That was cool.
Yeah, Lionel Richie. Have you watched the documentary about the We Are the World?
I have.
It's so cool. I mean, obviously eons before you were born, but that was like that was monstrous back in the day.
Yeah, it's crazy that they stayed up that late, 3, 4, 5 a.m. just to record, over and over and over. Got to get it perfect. It's quite impressive. It's fantastic.
Yeah. What do you do that like I still collect like records. I shouldn't say I still since I started back up at in 2017. Is there anything old school you do?
Um, Man, I might be prehistoric with what I do. I used to do it. It's kind of not music related, but love history. I would go through the rivers of Fenton and Linden and collect old 1800s medicine bottles. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
that's something a little different, but
Yeah, maybe we'll have to meet up at Leroy's Lounge one day in Fenton.
yeah, that sounds good. Heck
Yeah. Well, Nate, I'll tell you what, we'll cut you loose here. As far as Firehouse is concerned, though, just a single out right now, touring for 2025. That's kind of what you got in store.
yeah. Yep, that's right.
And the single is still, if I'm not mistaken, just on the website, correct?
Just on the website. We did that so that no middleman can pick it up and then repost it, and then we've lost. Uh, um, we would like to recoup. Bill put in a lot of time, um, kind of mixing and mastering the whole thing. So we set it up like that so he could recoup, some of the money that was, you know, we could use towards, another song or more time or gear and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. Mighty Fine Lady, that's on the Firehouse website. And like you said, he got a bunch of dates this year. And hopefully I'll be able to check you guys out somewhere coming up in the future. But we appreciate your time and good luck with everything you do and say hi to the boys for me, okay?
I sure will. Thanks for having me, buddy. I really appreciate it.